Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Do We Know Them? I'm here with Justin Bieber.
Here with my babe, Hailey Bieber. I hate this. I hate this so much.
I do too. I'm so uncomfortable. Why would you voluntarily want this just in your face?
Good question. What's really great is that I woke up this morning, like the first thing I saw on my phone was I opened the YouTube Studio app and I saw a comment from a viewer that said, for the love of God, basically, please do not be the Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber launch party costumes because I'm done with that. And I'm like, oh, I literally sent it to Lily. I'm like, got it. Okay, great.
I'm like, why the fuck then did I sit and bedazzle a fucking bee last night? Because you guys, I'm telling you, this isn't even a complicated costume, but I think we jumped on it a little too late. So Amazon didn't have any of the things I needed. It was either like a little dainty bee and then like they didn't have any strawberry earrings. You guys, if you knew what lengths I went to do this,
you would appreciate it.
Fun story for the strawberry earrings.
Yeah.
Please appreciate. I thought it just fell off. It was the headphone. I had to buy wireless headphones too, just so you could see the earrings.
But the headphones are so giant, you barely can.
I know. I couldn't find any good strawberry earrings that weren't like super dangly. And also, full disclosure, I don't even know if my ears are really still pierced. So it was a little difficult. I was like, oh, I could be crap.
Let's play the game. When in this episode do we fucking lose it? I think it's within the 30-minute mark.
Oh my God. So I decided that I would just be like a little crafty. So I ordered drawer pulls that were strawberries because they were like the only ones that were big enough. And I was like, oh, that'll be perfect. And I'll just like glue them to some earrings. Yeah, well, they came and they had the drawer part like on them. So I was like, well, fuck, how do I get that off? They won't screw off. So I happened to have a blowtorch for, dabbing. One time my mom was like, do you make a lot of creme brulee? And I was like, no. But yeah, so I blowtorched the strawberries, which was a little rough, and I got a battle wound because there was acrylic paint on them, so it kind of splattered off. But the drawer pulls came right off, and then I super glued them to clip-on earrings. So my ear is in a lot of pain right now because I think it's at like a jagged part of where the part came off. Anyway, it worked. And then I spent like probably an hour bedazzling this fucking necklace because I couldn't find one. So it's a thin piece of wood in the shape of a bee that I put on a...
I mean, it looks great. I think you slayed it. On my end, not much preparation. I had to print out the logo, Nemayas, because the hats are fucking like $150. I was like, nah. And so everybody else who's Justin Bieber is just wearing the pink hat. But no, we need the logo. However, I failed to check if my printer had color in it, and it didn't. So now it's blue and crooked.
You know, honestly, your voice actually kind of matches the character.
Oh my God, yeah, we weren't gonna film today because I've been sick for so long and like my voice is shot. And it was worse this morning. Like I could not form a sentence for like half the day. I don't know how it got better.
You sounded a little toad-esque.
Yeah, but now I just sound like Justin Bieber. So slay. And honestly, we get it. We slayed it so hard last year. Everyone was really waiting and expecting for like, what are we gonna do? Well, here it is. Honestly, we're so busy with this podcast. Like last year we were doing one episode a week. We just had the time and to think about it. Like I don't even have time to think about anything.
The fact that I put as much time into this as I did is really miraculous. Yeah. And also I'd like everyone to know that I had to cut my hair for this as well because I was getting... God damn it. Yeah, I was getting ready and I started to do my hair and then I realized that my hair, the strand was like down to here. And I was like, oh, that's not gonna work. So I just did a little snip and haircut. Anyway, babe, what are we talking about today?
Well, one thing that we never covered on this podcast was actually the whole launch party debacle of Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber when they were getting out of the car and there's a ton of pictures of them because he looked like this and she looked like that.
By debacle, do you mean the outfits? Yeah, please explain because I'm not aware of the explanation.
Well, there's actually an article about it. We do have an actual topic. We're going to be talking about Rosanna Pansino and the whole thing that happened with Mr. Beast, and we're going to get into that. But we wanted to just, have a fun little beginning because that's not the funnest thing to dive into.
Sorry, guys. I thought I was going to try and have no cords attached, but here we are.
And I spilled wine on my sweatshirt, so this is going great. Okay, so it was for a launch party. I think it was for Rhode, which is Hailey Bieber's skincare line. They were going to a launch party and he was obviously dressed differently than her. And the thing is with that is that it adds to the speculation that people have had for a long time, which is like Justin Bieber doesn't love her and like he's still in love with Selena Gomez, like the obsession that everyone has with that. Although I do think there's plenty of evidence of him like closing the car door on her and like her like falling, trying to get to him. And it's like, okay, well.
Seeming completely disinterested in Rude.
Yeah, there is a lot of, there's evidence for that, but there's also evidence that they have good times together. They laugh together. Like, I don't know. There's interesting. I think we've talked about it at some point on the show. However, she finally addressed it on October 24th in a GQ article. And she said, it's so funny because I see so many people talk about this. She's referring to our looks right now. He may want to wear baggy sweats to dinner, and I might want to wear a tiny little dress just because that's how I'm feeling, she explained. We can't sit there and be like, so I'm going to wear this and you're going to wear this. And I'm like,
why?
Yeah, I'm like, but you can, I promise.
This isn't about like, oh, I don't want to wear that pink shirt or I don't want to wear that blue striped shirt. It's like, no, dress for the genre of the occasion, at least. What you're wearing right now, like, that's not exactly just like sweatpants. Like, why do you have a hat on over a hood? Like, you're being an asshole.
And it's literally tied and like in the most awkward way. It makes me feel like the she doesn't even go here guy. Like, it's just weird. Like, why are you dressed like that?
And not to mention his facial expression to go with everything. Like, he just looked like he could not give a shit less and he did not want to be there.
Yeah. And especially, like I said, you have those rumors floating around. Why the fuck? Dress up, motherfucker. Be there for your wife. What's very interesting, I found, was that one of Hailey's best friends, Kayla Moniz, shared her thoughts on this as well. And she said, it wasn't Justin's day. It was Hailey's day. He was there to support his wife, period. But also, he still looks cool. So you can't hate the guy.
Okay, I have a couple problems with that. One, he did not look cool. And two, if he's there to support his wife, maybe don't take the attention away from her by looking like a fucking idiot.
That's what I was gonna say, is I'm like, you actually took more attention away by doing this than if you would have just dressed for the occasion, which I'm reading here was a peptide lip tint launch party. So it's not like the launch of the whole brand. It was a launch of a product, but it's still something that's important and is like, they threw a launch party. So show up for it. Don't take away attention.
He could have worn jeans and a t-shirt.
Literally, that would have been less to talk about. And now everybody's dressed as that for Halloween, and like,
he took all the attention away from her. So that's the dumbest statement I've ever heard.
I just think that them being in the situation they're in, where so many rumors like go around their love for each other and people doubt it. Yeah, there's no reason to feed that. Just like, be normal, Justin, just for one day, I beg.
Well, and it's also not lost on me that it's Hailey that made the statement, not him.
Right.
Oh, it's so funny. No, is it though?
Well, that's always how it is. Didn't we cover like when she was like making a statement on his Instagram as him, but then was like, oh, whoops, I was signed into Justin's account. Like, this has been a trend. So it's just, oh girl. But anyway, that was it. We never really talked about the specific launch party and them dressing that way. And we know this is a very popular costume this year. I, for a second, thought like, oh, I don't think anybody's gonna be that, like whatever. And then I logged onto Instagram and I'm like, oh Jesus.
It felt like it wasn't when you first brought it up, and like, I'll let Jessie take credit for this one. It was her idea. But you sent it to me and I was like, oh, that's good. That's pretty like obscure. No, literally when I would search on Amazon for stuff, it would be like, people usually buy these together, and it would have the rest of the costume.
Yeah, but we tried. At least we dressed up kind of. So, let's just carry on with this episode as normal.
A for effort.
Hopefully my look is not that distracting to you. So we're going to get into our actual topic now, because that wasn't one. It was just a fun little tidbit. But Rosanna Pansino has, God, like, it's like been all anyone's been talking about for the last few days.
Honestly, I've been nonstop tagged in it because there's nonstop tweets about it.
Oh my God, it's everywhere. And all I knew was that Mr. Beast like shorted her in some way, something happened, but I didn't really have a ton of time to look into it until today, when I saw not only her statements and stuff that she's been putting out, but I saw her interview with H3, where she definitely answered some questions that were in my brain that were like, wait, what? I don't really get that. Or why is this so serious type of thing? Like, I wasn't 100% understanding everything. She definitely answered a lot of those questions. So I'm grateful that she did that, because it made it easier to understand why this sucks for her.
Yeah. Well, I think what was most confusing for me was the timing of it, because I don't watch Mr. Beast videos. So like, I know that there was something called the Creator Games, like that was a thing that existed in the universe, but I definitely have not watched it or knew what it was. And I didn't realize until everything had been out for a minute that it had been out for a minute, because the Creator Games she's referring to, I guess, aired in December 2021. Which is 2 years ago now. And it was the third Creator Games, which again, I knew that they existed kind of, but I just didn't really know what it was. But it's like Mr. Beast has a bunch of huge creators come together and he does this giant game of hide and seek. And then instead of how his normal stuff is, where it's like hide and seek, winner wins $1 million, it was that the winner, the money goes to charity.
Well, no, actually, that's not, it doesn't go to, I mean, technically, I guess it's charitable, but the creator gets it and has to give it away to their community. So like whatever they want to do, their subscribers or charities
Oh, I thought it was like the charity of their choice or something, but it's just like someone they choose, not them.
Yeah, and they could break it up from what I understand how Rosanna was explaining it. Like they could break it up however they want. They could give 10,000 here to this person, 10,000 here to this person. So they can just do whatever they want as long as it's being given away.
Got it. And it was $1 million though?
It was $1 million, yeah, which is fucking insane. Like,
I know.
Jesus.
So it's a game of hide and seek, and I don't know how many creators do it overall. I'm going to guess probably like 15.
Yeah, I think it's like around the 12 mark or something like that, yeah.
And they do it at the SoFi Stadium, and I guess it lasts for like over 24 hours. It's a very long, intense game.
What's crazy is that Rosanna was in Creator Games 1 and 2 before the third one, and then this was her third time being on there. What I want to do is I want to read her statement, and that way we can take it from there to like how she elaborates on things, because after she put this out and went on Trisha Paytas' podcast, people had questions. There is the most bizarre reaction to this. It's very strange. Like, this is
the
all
whole thing
so
is
weird.
Kind of odd. And I feel like we're both like, what happened? What are the Creator Games?
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that we're not super well versed. But again, she did clear up a lot of the questions I had. So she says, Mr. Beast lied and edited me out of the top 3 in Creator Games 3. I had participated in Creator Games 1 and 2 and was excited to be a part of YouTube's Creator Games 3 hide and seek at SoFi Stadium. After filming had wrapped, I truly couldn't believe how well I did at the competition and was proud of what I had achieved. I had placed 3rd. So at first I was like, what does that even mean? It is kind of intense. Like, they force them to like move into a zone, almost like if the zone is like closing in on them and they have to move and like not be caught in transit. They don't get like time to move. And they're like hiding in, Bella Porch was like in a fucking cave. It looked like she was just in the dark.
I watch Yes Theory, and I know that they did a hide and seek thing with Mr. Beast a while ago where they won money, and they actually did win. It was like at like I want to say it was like a ghost town or like an abandoned like place, but it was much smaller scale than this was, obviously. But I'm curious because she refers to it as YouTube's Creator Games. Is YouTube?
Yes, it's a YouTube original.
Oh, so does that mean it's not on Mr. Beast's channel, or it is and it's just branded?
It is on Mr. Beast's channel. So the way that YouTube Originals work is that it is a YouTube funded thing that they both cover all of the production costs for, as well as pay you a substantial amount of money. I know of YouTubers who have been on it, and I'll just say it's ridiculous. Like, you're getting $150,000 just to let them produce a show for you and you put it on your channel. That's it.
Got it. Like, the YouTubers are just the distribution platform, and they promote the shit out of it.
Exactly. And I'm also sure that Mr. Beast gets way more than that. So it's a lot. Like, that $1 million, YouTube probably put that up. But do you want to continue reading so I can conserve my voice?
Sure, Justin. I do everything in this relationship. When the video was released, I was shocked, disappointed, and felt hurt. Mr. Beast, Jimmy, had edited the video to make it look like I performed worse than I did. This was extra upsetting because I genuinely believed him when he said that his videos are authentic and real. He edited the video to make it look like the final 3 people were Leray, Logan Paul, and Zach King. The final 3 people were actually Zach, Quackity, and myself. For the entire duration of filming, we all wore earpieces connected to walkie-talkies. They would announce in our ears when someone had been found or when we had to move hiding spots. If we didn't move, you were immediately disqualified. While I was still hiding, they announced that they found Logan Paul. I couldn't believe I outlasted him. He is a fierce competitor. It was getting really late. We filmed for over 24 hours straight, and that's like insane. That's a really long time.
Right? What the fuck?
Like, 1, to just like not sleep, and 2, to be filming.
I filmed
crazy.
Epic Rap Battles of History for 12, I think it was actually 13 hours, and I wanted to sob. Like, it was so tiring. I can't imagine that.
I've just like worked on shoots for like over 12 hours and wanted to die, so I can't imagine being in them. And they eventually offered me money to come out of hiding and quit. I declined, which that alone is a little weird. Odd. Is that something they do for everyone, or it was just her?
I think she said on H3 that they do that for everyone, which I find so weird. I also found it weird how he conducted the search in general, because it would be like, okay, it's just me. I'm looking for you. Then he would like recruit like 10 other people. I'm like, hello?
I will say, I never like had a problem with Mr. Beast, obviously, because I don't really watch his content. But from what I have seen, I always am a little caught off guard. Like, on one hand, the production is always like pretty high value, it seems like. And he, like, even the Squid Games one, for example, like, he puts a lot of money into it. But at the same time, they always seem kind of like unorganized and not that produced.
That is so funny that you say that, because although I know that like the filming and logistics of filming someone who's trying to hide is kind of tricky, because it's like you don't want a cameraman on them.
But they all have cameras with them, don't they?
They all had a GoPro strapped to their chest, as well as they were allowed to film with their phones. But like pretty much all you saw was just like pure shakiness. Now that I understood, because I'm like, okay, they're the ones hiding. Then why is the footage on Mr. Beast also sloppy? Like it was just like one camera almost just
That's
on
my
him.
thing. I was like, it just feels like they put a lot of effort into some aspects of it. And then like the ones that are like the most important aspects, I'm like, why wouldn't, what?
Right? I felt the same way watching it.
The hosting of it, whether it's Mr. Beast or like one of his crew members or something, it doesn't seem like they have a script. It doesn't seem like there's much of a plan in terms of like how they're delivering stuff. It's just kind of like, well, and here you go hide.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, for sure.
I always just get kind of like odd vibes that I'm like, wouldn't you think something this expensive, you would put so much, like you would make sure all of the T's are crossed and I's are dotted, and I don't know. I just, not how I would do it. But anyway, she was offered money to come out of hiding and quit. She declined. I had been counting the eliminations, and I was currently in 4th place with Lorray, Quackity, Zach, and myself still remaining. Jimmy asked us to move hiding spots again, and then she specifies that it was to the side of the stadium with mannequins. It was at that time that I was found in transition moving to my next hiding spot. When Jimmy found me, he brought me to the field with the others that had also been found. I thought I had placed 4. However, Lorray had fallen asleep. I find that so funny. I'm like, me.
Literally me.
Lorray had fallen asleep and hadn't moved in a long time, so he was disqualified. This meant I got 3rd place. When I arrived to the field, I saw Matt, Pat, and Logan there because they were seekers now. Jimmy said he was going to go look for Zach and asked if anyone wanted to join him. I offered to help, but he said he wanted to take Logan instead. So I hung back to start looking for Zach in a different direction with Matt, Pat. I placed 3rd, Quackity placed 2nd, and Zach placed 1st. That is what actually happened, despite Jimmy editing out the only female in the top 3. I was proud of what I had achieved. I followed the rules of the game, gave it my all, had fun, and never gave up. They can't take that away from me.
So when I first read that, I was like confused in the sense that I was like, well, why is this so serious? That was like my first, you know what I mean? I have to be honest about what my first reaction was. That was it, because it might be yours too. And let's talk through this. So I literally was just like, huh? Like, it's hide and seek. Like, I don't get it.
My reaction wasn't necessarily like, why is this so serious? I kind of had that sentiment, but it was more like, oh, that sucks.
I think what it really was that she didn't place 1st regardless. So then in my head, I was like, well, you didn't win either way. So like, why does, top 3 matter more than your 4th? It like, you know what I mean? I was like, maybe it just made sense in editing. I don't know. I didn't know anything about this.
And for me, sadly, and like, this is awful that this is where my brain goes to, but that I was like, yeah, well, I'm not that surprised that they would do that. Like, not that it justifies it, it's still fucked, but like, I was kind of like, they wanted Logan to be like in the top 3 because he's more popular probably, even though Rosanna is like pretty popular, I would say.
My thing was more of just assuming that it was a production thing. Like, I was just like, well, I mean, it's not like you were 1st and they edited you to be 7th. You know what I mean? That was like where my thought process was, where I was like, okay, well, I mean, that sucks for sure. Like, you did better than they said you did, but it's not like they said that you lost in a way that you didn't lose in that way. Or like, I just didn't really truly understand it. Again, once I found out like the whole, it was 2 years ago thing or a year ago, I was just confused. I was like, huh? Why are we talking about it now? Again, she addresses this on H3. So I'm going to get into those because I feel like it's good to just get clarity on what this all even is about and why she is hurt by this. Because otherwise it just seems like, well, what? Like, who cares? Like, I don't know. I see a lot of people with that sentiment.
For me, it's less of like, who cares? And more, I'm like, that sucks. I'm not very surprised that they would manipulate the editing because I'm just not shocked that a lot of Mr. Beast stuff probably isn't as authentic as he says it is.
Oh my God. That's the thing too, is like, when she said the authentic thing, I'm like, Mr. Beast, because I do understand that like his whole thing is a regular guy, quote unquote, who's just like donating and just trying to do cool shit. Like, that's how he like kind of prides himself on doing that type of shit.
But he also always is so like, views, has to do better. We have to outdo the last
100%.
thing. That I'm not shocked that he would do what he thinks he needs to do to get, like, to have it be a better video. And also it's interesting, and a lot of people pointed this out, that Rosanna, if you aren't familiar, I guess we should have prefaced
oh my God,
this,
yeah,
that,
we should.
She's like a longtime creator. She does wasn't her nickname Nerdy
Nummies, yeah.
She does food content. She's very like non-problematic, like never gets involved in drama. So that was why a lot of people are like, oh, if Rosanna's saying something, that means it's something serious.
That was like the whole Escape the Night drama. Like, her coming out with a statement was like, oh my God, it's Rosanna Pansino. That was almost like the main thing people were talking about, because they're like she doesn't get involved in drama.
But it's more, I think, that she doesn't speak out on things very much.
I agree.
So that if she is, it's more not necessarily, I think that it's super serious. And I don't think it's as much that it's serious as much as it's like you trust her because she hasn't ever given anyone a reason to not believe her.
I understand the sentiment in the way of like, okay, if she's not someone that gets into a ton of drama, let's listen to what she does feel she needs to speak about. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, yes, people who get in drama all the time, like I can understand that. But just because someone's like been in drama, I don't like immediately discount their, you know what I mean? Like even Trisha Paytas, like there's no one that's been in more drama than her, I feel. And like if she puts out a statement or it's a situation where we feel she's right or whatever, we're going to address it on a like situation by situation basis. We're not going to just go and be like, this person's been in drama. Like I don't like that narrative, I guess, as a whole, where it's like, if you haven't been in drama, you're not problematic at all. I don't know that.
But I don't think it's even saying that people that have been involved in drama are problematic. It's just that specifically she has never had a reason where it's like, there's nothing surrounding her where it seems like she's like clout chasey or like trying to like capitalize on something. And even this, like a lot of people are saying she's clout chasing, which I just like don't, I feel like this would be a really weird choice to do. I don't think her career is failing to the point that she needs to like cancel Mr. Beast, which is not exactly like the easiest feat. So I don't know what prompted her to come out with it, but I think that it seems like she genuinely was upset by the situation.
I agree. And now looking at everything, I do think she was genuinely upset. I just don't like, because there's plenty of people who have not been outed or like anything. We all have to look at the evidence in front of us. You know what I mean? We got to look at like the vibes, the statement, like we got to just draw our own conclusion on a case by case basis. I guess that's all I'm saying. But anyway, she went on H3. She cleared up a lot of shit. I think it's helpful to listen to it for sure. So I want to do that now.
People are like, why did you wait so long to say something? I'm like, well, I've been writing this for an entire year. That was my joke. But no, I am it takes me forever to read and write. But the real reason, and we can talk about it, is he had us sign NDAs.
Oh,
yeah. And that's a part of it, and the other part is I just really value like my relationships with people. My friendships mean the world to me, and I talked about it a little bit before, but sometimes I put that above myself. And I'm learning that that's not healthy and that I can't keep doing that, putting other people before me as a detriment to myself.
So she signed an NDA.
Did the NDA expire?
She goes on to basically say like, no, like she's just like, I don't really know if I'm allowed to do this. And I do understand this sentiment that she wanted to say something from the moment that the video was put out and she didn't. And I understand how that shit just kind of collects over time and you watch someone continue to just like go on and like, who cares? And if it really hurt her, I understand why, even though again, I get it. She wouldn't have won. Like, it's not like she won and they didn't. She wasn't like shorted $1 million or anything like that.
No, it's more, I think, the principle of it that he like lied. And also, I guess that he didn't tell her. And it wasn't like he gave her a heads up and was like, hey, the edit like ended up being a little weird. We kind of changed things around. Like, hope you don't mind. It was instead like, surprise, this is how we're presenting it, even though it's not what happened.
Yeah, it was definitely a strong disregard for her. Like, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like, who cares? We're just changing you from fourth to third or third to fourth or whatever it was.
I think it's kind of weird that they had to sign NDAs.
I don't, considering how large the production is. I don't know if that was on his part or YouTube's part. I mean, I've been in a YouTube original and I didn't have to sign an NDA, so I don't know.
I just, like, what would you be, like, protecting?
I don't know, work environment, all this shit. But again, Ethan goes on to say, like, that does not cover any sort of, like, negligence or if something horrible happened on set, that didn't cover that. But this is kind of murky waters because this isn't, like, necessarily discussing negligence or she wasn't put in, like, danger, I don't think. But, like, it is discussing something she wasn't happy with on set. I'm like, shit, that might be under the NDA, actually. I don't know.
It's, like, no disparaging comments or something.
Correct,
but also, she's not even really being disparaging. She's just saying what happened.
I don't know. NDAs are weird. I don't really understand them, and I don't know how enforceable they are. This is her discussing how she felt, like, right after the video came out, because, again, it was, like, over a year ago at this point.
I was, at first, my reaction was I was disappointed that my male friends didn't speak up for me because I just were like, wait, you guys were there. You know that didn't happen. But really took a lot of time to think about it, process it, and I realized that it's not their responsibility to stand up for me. It's my responsibility to stand up for myself. And I've been getting a lot of questions online from people like, well, who can verify your story? And I'll say the people who can verify it, but I don't want people to pressure them because it's not their fault. They didn't do anything. And they also had to sign NDAs, and they probably don't want to get in trouble. And I don't know what their relationships are also with Mr. Beast. So the people that could verify would be ZHC. He's so sweet to me. I really love him. He found me with Mr. Beast. They were driving in a golf cart, and I was in transition. And they found me, and ZHC gave me a big, big hug. But ZHC is business partners with Mr. Beast. So I understand. I'm not mad about it. I totally get it. And then Pat, who's a dear friend of mine. I love him. I feel like he's my brother from another mother. He didn't do anything wrong. He also is under, an NDA, and it's not his fault that Mr. Beast made these editing decisions. He has no say in it.
Right.
And then there's Logan Paul. He could also confirm what I'm saying. He was there. But
Logan's in on it.
Yeah.
He's part of the
Period.
conspiracy.
I agree.
Yeah, him and I aren't close.
He
We
probably
had
had it in his
positive
contract that he had
interaction,
to
like
place a
working
certain-
together. It was really fun. We actually did a shot of whiskey together on our little lunch dinner break. And I really enjoyed him. I was actually pleasantly
Fake
surprised
news.
when I got to work with him. I didn't know what that would be like. And he had great sportsmanship. He didn't cheat. He played by the rules. He was kind to everybody on set. And
Dan,
I
can
was
you
taken
button that
aback by
up, please?
that. Yeah.
So here,
Again, I don't know his relationship with Mr. Beast. So, and it's not their responsibility. It's mine.
So I rebuke that idea that Logan Paul's a nice man.
I meant that it's not their responsibility to speak up. I was like, well, I mean, it's not even that it's like not their responsibility. Like, again, I'm not surprised that they wouldn't. Like, they're not going to be like, actually, Rosanna did better. Like, are you kidding? It's a bunch of dudes and Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. Like, that's the least surprising thing ever.
I know, yeah. I kind of
Doesn't
feel the
make it
same
okay.
way. Yeah. I kind of feel the same way where if I was watching that and I was one of the influencers in it, even as a woman, I'll be looking at it and just be like, that's weird. Like, okay, but I'm not going to go make a statement about it. I would just be like,
I would be
weird.
like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And especially if they signed NDAs, like, no. Behind the scenes, I would probably tell people.
Oh, for sure. So Zach is the one that won. And if you don't know Zach, he started on Vine, I'm pretty sure, because I remember him. He was like a magician.
magic ones.
Yeah, he does but he's not a magician. He's like
He's
an editor.
really good editing. It's amazing.
So she insinuates, even though he's the one that won, that he cheated.
He did The Amazing Race with Jocelyn, actually. And I've met him once, but super nice. Jocelyn doesn't have enough nice things to say about him and his wife, and they adopted a baby. They're like very wholesome, great people, it seems like. I've also met Rosanna at least once, and she was very, very sweet in person. Like, they're both very nice people, it seems like.
Yeah. Do we know them? I guess so.
That was why I was answering.
Accountable, especially because this was a YouTube original production. Zach would have been eliminated for cheating. He broke the rules, and guarantee you, if I climbed in the ceiling, Mr. Beast would eliminate me.
So this all comes down to I think you're feeling like
It was personal.
I don't know what's the word. I want to word it correctly, but there seems to be, I guess, you're feeling some misogyny that's continues to affect your relationships with working with people in general, not just Jimmy, but in general.
Yes, this is unfortunate. I don't ever want to believe that, but it felt like a boys' club there. That's
Absolutely.
the truth. And I understand that people don't want to hear that, especially if you're a Mr. Beast fan and you love him. You don't want to hear negative things about somebody that you really admire or look up to. The truth sometimes is not pleasant. And it's also not mutually exclusive. People are saying he didn't edit you out because you're a girl. He edited you out because you're boring. And the two are not mutually exclusive.
Right.
He can edit me out because I didn't fit the narrative he wanted for who he wanted to be in top 3. And he can edit me out because he really didn't want a female there. It can be both. And I just want to remind people of that it's not an or situation. It has to be one or the other. It's just the vibe I got all day.
I get what she's saying, but also I want to be like, yeah, but maybe also ask yourself, why does he think that you're not entertaining? I think it's definitely because she's a girl.
Well, and from someone who watched it, she was not any less entertaining than anyone else. Like, they were very short clips of them hiding and being like, oh my God, we're moving. Oh my God, this and that. Nobody was...
They're not even really talking that much.
No, and so nobody really even stood out to me. Like, Logan Paul absolutely did not even do his Logan Paul thing and like go batshit and like be really like out there. He really wasn't.
He was probably actually focused on trying to win, and they're not talking that much, and it's hide and fucking seek. You're not exactly filming monologues.
And I just want to make it very clear that like I completely believe her experience, that it was a boys club, that like, you know, 100%. Especially she's gonna describe how she felt, but like I don't think she's like pulling that out of her ass either. I think that she genuinely like had multiple experiences throughout the set where it was just obvious that like she wasn't maybe entirely like wanted on that set, and I get it.
I mean, even if you look back at Mr. Beast videos, like I don't believe he has a huge history of having a bunch of girlfriends that are in the videos. And if this is a YouTube Originals, I'm sure YouTube does have like not a final say in like what, I mean, yes, they do have final say, but like when picking, it's not like they're like, you have to use these people, right? But I'm sure they were like, okay, we gotta kind of mix it up a little, and they had him pick some, I don't know what other girls participated. I'm sure that they picked Rosanna because she is a very unproblematic creator that has a big following, and they don't have a problem with her. That doesn't mean that they're like, we love Rosanna and we want her to be in it, and that's why we're picking her. So none of this surprises me. And again, I'm not excusing any of it. I'm literally agreeing with her that I'm like, yeah, 100%. I don't think I would have been as surprised as she is. I don't even feel like Mr. Beast was probably like, oh, a girl, we can't have her in it. It's more of an internalized thing where it's just like, that's honestly how he operates.
It's kind of sad that I kind of feel very similar to how you feel, where I've just experienced, oh my God, Vine was disgusting, dude. Top creators making me sob, okay? Like literally the trashiest, most misogynistic fuckers, to the point where it's like, motherfucker, I grew up with 4 brothers and you're still making me cry? This must be bad. And I just feel like maybe I'm just hardened to like, I would almost expect something like this. And there's a problem in that. You know what I mean?
That's, I think, why I'm not really fazed by a lot of it, is because I'm like, I've had a lot of guy friends and I'm like, yeah, sounds right.
But also she does speak briefly, and that's like her story to tell. She does talk about the fact that like something happened to her on a set. And so now like her husband, I think it is, or fiance or boyfriend, I'm not really sure their relationship, has to accompany her at all times on every set because of something that happened to her, like that someone did to her. So I just feel like she definitely is aware of the scum in the industry, but still, I guess maybe wanted to believe in someone that she thought was her friend, which was Mr. Beast.
That's what I think a lot of this is. She seems very personally hurt by it, while we're kind of jaded in that we're like, yeah, sounds about right.
This is her talking a little bit more about the misogyny she experienced.
And even at the end of the night, when he said, who wants to go find Zach with me? I offered, and he was like, no, I'm going to take Logan.
Right. I noticed you had mentioned that.
Checks out.
There was a lot of stuff that happened like that, which I would love to get my hands on the raw footage, because there was lots of comments like that throughout the day. And it just made me feel a little sad. But I brushed it off because it's a big production, it's stressful, and I thought he might just be in a bad mood. But after I released this statement, I actually got 3 female creators, one's very big, who said that she had the same experience with him. And so it seems to me like this is more of a pattern behavior. And I totally understand that people may not be wanting to hear this or willing to hear it right now. And I think, you know, time will do its thing. I think the truth always surfaces. I know for a fact that, you know, you can't keep, I don't know, the crap down. It comes out.
I think a lot of this comes down to people just dismissing it, being like, why are you making such a big deal about hide and go seek?
I don't know about him. I don't know about this creator games. I don't really even know a whole lot about her. And so it's easy to look at this and just be like, girl, what is all this even about? But I do understand why it fucking sucks and why being in her shoes, it's not even, I don't know if I'm like wrong in saying this. I don't even think it's so much about the edit. Like maybe it is to her, but I think it's a lot about her fucking experience there. And then on top of that, you go to be one place down from where you actually were. And you're just like, what the fuck, bro? Like you're just an asshole. Like I do get that.
Yeah. Well, and also that she kind of says that she did experience stuff on set and she kind of brushed it off. She probably told herself like, oh, it's not a big deal. You're being dramatic. And then to see that, it confirmed it. And I don't think this is about hide and go seek. I think it's about the misogyny and like how that is excused and not made to like, she should just shut up because it's not a big deal because it's hide and go seek. But like, I think her hurt is coming from a much deeper place. I agree that it's not the biggest deal in the world, but I understand why she is mad about it and why it sucks.
I think two things can be true at once. Like she says, it's kind of like, yes, this could not be the worst thing happening in the world right now. And like, oh my God, we need to like freak out right now. And also, I think that this could be really hurtful to her and could also speak to a bigger problem in this industry in general. It says a lot too to me that she has a whole story about probably somebody in this industry that really hurt her and she doesn't speak on that. Yeah. I think that says a lot. You know what I mean? Like she touched on it, but she was very much like, I'm not ready to speak about that. And I totally understand. And I just feel like if she's speaking about this, it definitely fucking hurt her. And I think that it's worthy of looking into like how we're doing right now. Like why?
And the reason I think she probably chose this to speak out about if she does have a bunch of other examples, like, yeah, this might not be a big deal, but maybe she went through something else that was a big deal and she doesn't have proof of that. And this is something she does have something where it's like she can prove that this happened.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. That's a really good point because it could have just easily been kind of like this tiny little flame inside of her that this just sparked. And it was like she sat on it for a year and this is the type of shit along with what she's been through. It just fucking eats at you, dude. It's just annoying. At the very least, we have to come to terms with the fact that like this would not have happened to Logan Paul. Like there's just no world. Like that would not have happened to him. If he plays 3, no world would he have been edited to be a place after that.
It happened with her because they didn't think she would say anything.
Yeah, and they probably just didn't fucking even give a shit, like at all. They're just like, oh, whatever, it's just
they
Rosanna.
honestly probably were like, oh, whatever, just cut Rosanna, it's fine.
I guarantee you, it was like, if a conversation at all, a 30-second one. It was like not a big decision for them.
And not to mention that the reaction from the Mr. Beast fans, it very much echoes that exact same kind of sentiment.
Oh my God.
Why do you even care? And it's like, everyone else would have cared. Like, again, I agree. It's hide and go seek. I don't think she is trying to say that this is like the worst thing that could possibly happen to someone. And I think that's kind of how it's gotten legs. But I think she's speaking to the larger issue.
Yeah. And I also just like, it kind of pisses me off the more I think about it. It's like if Logan was in her position and spoke out about it on his podcast, it would be like, L Mr. Beast, like W Logan. Like it's just,
100%.
this is such bullshit, the reaction she's getting.
There's
because,
a double standard.
Oh my God, beyond a double standard. And it pisses me off. And now I'm getting more angry as time goes on. But anyway, let's continue with Rosanna.
I felt like he had females there for optics. I felt like he had females there also because it was a YouTube production and, you know, they wanted to have guys and girls be represented.
What I said.
But just because you're there doesn't mean you're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I wonder if you analyzed all the winners of his videos and competitions, what would be the gender breakdown? Because I have a feeling it would be like massively.
He does have women win, and I think that's the other part. Part of it is, I think, having women present for optics, and then also he makes exceptions for women who have very large followings because he's a businessman, you know, and at the end of the day, if there's women with huge followings, he wants those numbers and those views. Those are his priorities.
Mm-hmm.
So
100%.
You know, like Creator Games 2, or one was the D'Amelio from TikTok, Gals won. But that's just a good business transaction.
Oh my God, is that the one where they cheated? Wait a second. There was something that the D'Amelios did with their family, and it was a game. It was Mr. Beast. Dude, it was Mr. Beast. And they, like, okay, it was a family thing. It was like a trivia. And her dad was looking off camera the entire time, and you're not allowed to search shit. And so people were thinking that they cheated, and they ended up winning, and he let them win. And I remember that whole fucking drama.
Cake, no cake?
So what year did McDonald's sell its first Big Mac? Closest wins. What year did McDonald's sell their first Big Mac?
Oh, get out of here. No way.
Mr. Emilio shot down the first answer. If you don't know the answer, use strategy. It's closest wins. Strategically try to get close. All right, the countdown has started. Yes, just write a year. What year? All right, let's see it. 1965, 1952. The answer is 1967. The D'Amelios were within 2.
Did you ever see that?
Not even a little bit.
Oh my God. I got to see if I can find that because that was
But yeah,
a thing.
literally the most followed person on TikTok. Yeah, you're going to let her win.
Yeah, you don't want to not let her win. I'll tell you that.
If you hear Mr. Beast in any interview talk about his company, about his business models, his number one goal is to get views, to make money, so he can put that money back into his videos and make more money and keep going. That's all he talks about.
So that's the gist of what she spoke about on H3, which I think just provided more clarity, right? For people who have not kept up with this, it's just it's just easy to dismiss her in the whole what are you mad about hide and seek? Which as soon as I saw that was Keemstar's take, I was like, hold the phone. I need to look further into this. Because anytime the Keemstar is on even a remotely similar world as the one I'm in, I'm like, I need to look further into that because that can't be.
Again, no one is saying she's lying. They're telling her to just shut up because it's not important. And again, I'm not saying that hide and seek is this huge thing that we all need to be freaking out about, but you do have to ask yourself what happened. And the fact that no one wants to ask that is pretty telling.
Again, it's not that she would have won, but it wasn't just hide and seek. That's such a way to minimize it too. It was $1 million for their community. No, she wouldn't have won if Mr. Beast edited it differently. But at the same time, it was a big deal. That was a big deal to participate in. It was a lot of work for them over a day of them just fucking filming. I get it. I do understand why it's important to her. And I guess it's the pot just bubbled over.
And I think that the main sentiment I'm seeing now is you're being so dramatic. And I've seen some of her tweets that I'm not gonna lie, I looked at it, I'm like, she's really upset about this. But again, I think that she's probably getting more upset because everyone is shut the fuck up. No one cares.
I think that it's bigger than that. I think that people don't understand in these situations and they like to think that the person who's tweeting a lot or whatever is just being dramatic. When you're in the thick of it and you're having people come for your fucking neck of something, it could be anything, but of anything that hurt you, you do feel this almost responsibility to yourself to stand up for yourself in some way. And I get why she's tweeting a lot about it. Would you not? Would you not respond to it? Would you not do it? I don't know. I think it depends on the person. There's probably some people who would handle it differently. There was one tweet in particular that people had an issue with. It says, the amount of DMs I'm receiving from people with similar stories, please know that you are not alone. You are seen and your experiences are valid. And people were you're kind of insinuating that this is I don't know, about SA or something. People took that as whoa, this is heavy duty the way she's tweeting about it. I don't know that I care that much about her wording. I'm just she's obviously hurt. She's going through it. She's going to deal with it how she wants to. However, she exchanged some very interesting DMs with Mr. Beast himself.
These were my favorite
part.
My God. And by favorite, I mean
least favorite.
Not favorite, not good. Also, I think the thing about that statement, also one that it's, how sad is it that it's so often that we're seeing those kind of statements about SA? Because what she's saying isn't incorrect.
Wrong. Yeah, exactly.
It's just that language has been very much associated with essays, which are so
True.
fucking prominent that that alone, that's a little disturbing that everyone's just acting like she's saying that when she's not. And I don't think she meant it to come across as being me not getting third place is the equivalent. That's what people are equating it to, is that she's trying to act like it's as important. Would I have worded it that way? Probably not, but I can't fault her for sticking up for herself when it's valid. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that. This is the tweet with the DMs and oh my God, I just cannot. She tweeted, if he can say it to me on the phone, he could say it in writing. When I asked him to send over the raw footage to review the timeline, he went radio silent. She's referring to Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast kept pressing me to get on the phone and refused to answer any of my questions in writing. Do you want to cold read these? Or they're not cold read.
I've read them before, so it wouldn't be a cold read, but yes, I will. I also just want to say before I read them that this alone, very much confirms, I feel all of my, I'm yeah, he doesn't give two fucks about it.
For sure, yeah.
It's laughable. So after she releases her initial statement and reveals all this to people, Mr. Beast is understandably a little, he notices. So then he messages her and says, what's your phone number? I'd love to call and see if we can figure out what happened. Sir, I'm pretty sure you know what happened.
How did that get edited that way?
Oh my God, don't get me started. I'll get to that in a moment with people being, maybe it was the editor who did it. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, okay. So then she goes, hey, Jimmy, my intention of speaking up is not to be malicious or create drama. I was really hurt by the editing decisions you made. Editing me out of the top 3 and making me look like I performed worse than I did felt awful. Quackity was also edited out of the top 3 and he also talked about it. Oh, and P.S. Side note, a lot of people are saying since Quackity was also edited out, that means that it wasn't misogyny at all because Quackity is a guy. And I'm like, well, again, 2 things can be true. Maybe he didn't like Quackity because he wasn't friends with him or something. I don't know. Regardless, he seems to pick favorites.
Even if the editing thing, let's say that specific act wasn't like intended to be misogynistic or like, oh, she's a woman, kick her out. Like it didn't have to be that forward. Her experience on set is still valid.
Yeah.
Like if she had a negative experience with the men on set, including Mr. Beast, then she had a negative experience with them. Like, it is what it is.
She continues, I've stayed silent for so long. It's causing me mental stress and anguish. It's not mentally healthy for me to have someone make me look worse than I am to millions of people. I would never do that to a fellow creator. And he goes, obviously I wasn't trying to make you look bad. Just give me a time we can chat. I'm not mad or anything. Just want to help. You're not mad. Good. And then she goes, why did you lie? Why did you say in the video that you found Logan literally 1 minute before Zach? I outlasted Logan and was proud of what I accomplished. It actually built some confidence in myself that wasn't there before. And then he goes, this is the chef's kiss. I don't know, been a while. IDK. Been a while. Let's call and figure it out. That's code for, I don't give a fuck. Let's get on the phone so I don't incriminate myself in writing. Like, that's laughable. I don't know, been a while? Are you kidding? And then she responds, I'll give you some time to look into it and remember, and then we can discuss. I'm more than happy to review all of the raw footage to help show the timeline of events. Feel free to send it over to my team. Let me know. Guess who didn't respond after that? I think a lot of people don't look at this even also from like a business perspective. Like, first of all, round of applause to her of how she handled that conversation because he was so like very much how a business would treat you, like a company where they'd be like, oh, no, it's fine. Yeah. Like when they're trying to do damage control and they want to like not piss you off more, but they want to like say stuff on the phone that they wouldn't be comfortable saying because they would admit fault and he doesn't want to do that. So it might be made public.
Yeah, I don't know. This is an interesting clip too because it's a vlog from the event after it was done, after the Creator Games were finished, and she was under the assumption that she placed 4th.
Yeah,
Lorraine
she
had
didn't know Lorraine
been
had been
asleep,
disqualified.
so I thought I was 4th, but I was 3rd. A metal staircase, and I could hear people going up and down it. And then Jimmy told us to move again, so I jumped into an X-ray machine, and I was hiding in there. And then he said we had to move to where the mannequins were on this side of the stadium, and I think I was already on that side, but I didn't know that. And so I got out of the X-ray machine right when Jimmy is driving by on a golf cart. Just, oh my gosh, just bad luck. But I made it to top 4, 4th place. So I'm really proud of myself because that's just a miracle. Never thought I would make it this far.
Well, so that alone, if anything, that proves just that she, again, I don't think people think she's lying. I don't think anyone thought she made this up, but it does prove that she thought she was in 4th before like she knew Lorraine was disqualified. So it confirms her story.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of like confused me in general because I saw that and I was like, wait, so you were under the impression that you were in 4th place. Then maybe whoever was editing it thought you were also in 4th place. I don't know. I guess I was just confused by it all because it seems like in the moment and like all the footage taken, it is kind of chaotic. And I was like, did it just get mixed up?
But this is a huge fucking production. And I know I said earlier that I think they aren't the most organized, but like if you think that there are not people keeping active track of what's going on and who's winning when that's the fucking point of the video, like no, I don't believe that for a second.
She also tweeted, question, why do you care if you didn't win anyways? She said, answer, this is a very selfish mindset. It's not just about me. I feel bad for Quackity too. His performance was also messed with. I am a team player. I believe in good sportsmanship. I care because we were told the game was fair and honest, and it wasn't. We were competing for $1 million to give away to our communities. That is life-changing money. We all wanted to win to give back to those who have supported us. It's beyond disrespectful to mess with that. Based on several messages I've received from other large creators, the same and worse has been done to them too. So that's crazy.
There's something deeper here, I think, that people just haven't found out yet. For sure.
And she said, I have found my voice and will support others who find theirs. And she did respond to someone who provided a clip of Quackity, who I'm not super familiar with, but apparently he was in Spanish, because I guess that's his native language. And he was speaking about this experience and he kind of validated her story and also said that basically he was edited differently too.
So I ended up being in third place. Because they found me. But Lorraine was in that video and Lorraine was asleep. So I was technically second place. So I was the second place in that video.
And as far as I'm concerned, nobody came for him.
Well, and I also have to wonder, like, so there was another factor maybe that made him he was kind of an outsider in, like, not Mr. Beast's normal circle of people. Because he was, like, an international creator, maybe, and not Logan Paul.
Could be. She also tweeted, I think it confuses people that I don't have a motive. I don't want anything. I'm just speaking truths that I've held in for years. I am sorry that the truth upsets people, but it is what it is. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm getting older and just don't care. Really quick side note, not to come for Rosanna at all. I just find it so weird when people do like, because this reminds me of Facebook, like the graphics with the quotes on them. I'm like, are we on Facebook? Are you 80 years old? I don't know. What's your deal? But yeah, she's basically just saying, I don't have a motive, just needed to say this. Fuck everything, and I just wanted to get it out there.
I do think that there must be something else. It seems especially like, because she has mentioned a couple times about talking to other creators and having them share similar or worse experiences. There must be other things that have not only made her feel more valid for coming forward because she can, because again, this is something that she can prove happened. Maybe there's worse things that it's like she feels empowered to come forward because she feels like they can't.
Listen, I get it, and I don't doubt it for a second. I'm not accusing Mr. Beast or anyone of anything. I don't know anything.
No, I'm just using my fake crystal ball and saying that I think something else is going to come out soon.
I mean, he has a big friend group. He knows a lot of the male creator. Like, I don't doubt it. Is it the next Blog Squad? I don't know.
There's a lot of reasons, though, that people would have maybe kept their mouth shut for things because he could either hurt their career or they were scared of what his audience would do or they just didn't feel like people would care. Oh, hey, it's Lily, here for an update as usual, because God forbid something not happen after we finish filming. Happy Halloween, by the way. Anyway, so basically, after all of Rosanna's tweets over the course of a couple days, she then kind of had a change of heart, it looks like, because she tweeted out, I would like to apologize to Mr. Beast. I should have expressed my feelings privately and handled things directly. I will be removing all of the posts where I talk about Creator Games and Jimmy. I will be honest in that the thousands of death threats I've received today are a contributing factor, but I do sincerely hear the feedback from so many of you. So, yeah, kind of a backtrack there. And honestly, I believe that 100% the death threats had a lot to do with it. I also wouldn't be surprised if maybe there was another conversation that happened behind the scenes, perhaps that brought up the NDA, because as we said earlier, it didn't expire or anything. She just decided to say fuck it. So I don't know. I'd be curious to know what the other contributing factors would be, because it doesn't seem, based on her tweets over the course of those few days, that she was like ready to just suddenly back down and say never mind. So it seems like something definitely probably happened to trigger that. I know that another thing that brought on even more hate than she was already getting was that she had released a music video, and a lot of people took that as, oh my God, this was all in promotion for a music video. She's just a clout chaser, which I could understand why people would jump to that, I guess. But at the same time, like, I don't think Rosanna's exactly trying to launch a huge music career. I think she was just putting out a video that she had already filmed, and it was just kind of poor timing. So I don't know. I just think maybe there was more that got her to delete everything, because her stance leading up to this was very much not seeming like she was just about to roll over and give up. So for now, it seems like that's probably all we're going to hear from Rosanna. And to my knowledge, Mr. Beast has not said anything publicly yet. But there is one other thing that has come out. We already discussed how Rosanna said that she had heard from other female creators that had similar experiences, which at first I kind of read that and was confused, like they had similar like editing situations unfold. Now I'm realizing that I think she meant that it was just more females came forward to say that they had bad experiences when working with Mr. Beast. And that's obviously pretty vague. But on that note, Xander, who is a creator who does commentary on internet situations, he tweeted out, "This just got deep. A woman reached out to me after seeing what happened to Rosanna. This is way more than hide and seek. This woman just told me about her experience with Jimmy in her car as she was giving him a ride in North Carolina. I'd encourage everyone to stop thinking this isn't a big deal, or at the very least be open to understanding that women will start start coming forward. I will share more in a few days. So that was not long after Rosanna had deleted all of her stuff and put out that statement. And now it is currently the 30th. So we haven't heard anything more detail-wise regarding this situation. But as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if things were going to keep coming out. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned until we hear anything more. Until then, I think that is all for now. So back to the episode.
I totally believe that. Yeah, 100%. And we'll see, I guess. But when all of this came out, something just lit a light bulb in my head. And I was like, wait, what was that thing that he did to that one lady who makes cakes?
Oh yeah, you mentioned this, and I kind of vaguely remember this. And this also does play very much into what I was saying about the, like, his mindset is, he has made it clear, it's views and success. He kind of reminds me of like Mark Zuckerberg. And even like, do you know what kind of content he did originally?
No, what did he do?
He like would just say a word. Oh, I think it was PewDiePie, maybe. He just like said the word PewDiePie a million times.
PewDiePie, PewDiePie, PewDiePie. PewDiePie, 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 PewDiePie. I will fight to the sneeze. PewDiePie, 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 PewDiePie.
Oh my God, yes, I have seen that.
And it's so fucking weird. It's like not good content. It's just like weird and like people are like, wait, what did he do?
Yeah, I think he did like what's Honey Boo Boo's mom's name? Mama June. Like she just threw spaghetti at the wall. And like when it sticks, she knows it's ready. Like that's what he did with his content. He just...
This is the most random comparison. I understand. Like, yes, that is a saying, but oh my God.
You don't want to live in this brain, I'll tell you that.
Wow. But yeah, like I think he just did stuff that was like weird and outrageous and people were like, no way someone did that. And that's how he got a following in the beginning. So like he's always just been about like gaming the system and how to get views. And I think that's so strange.
One thing I do remember being problematic that he did was that clip of him saying like, I identify as a helicopter. And like, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, I'm especially now with his friend too. But even more than that, like I know even, sorry for not, for delaying the toilet clip, but I know even recently he's kind of been under fire because he does weird shit. Like he had a guy where he like put him in a grocery store and was like, however long you can survive in here, and he like paid him $10,000 a day or something. And
I mean, to be fair, I feel like the grocery store does have a lot of things for survival.
Well, for sure, but it's kind of like he makes people kind of degrade themselves for money, and so then he can benefit off of it.
It's got a sniff of Dobrik in it. A sniff. I'm not saying that it's Dobrik. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying.
No, but I get the vibe.
I got a little sniff there.
I think they'd get along.
I think they would be friends. Okay, so toilet clip. Here we go.
This is not a toilet. It's actually a cake that I was asked to make to prove that I could make a super realistic toilet. And in return, I was going to get hired to make this cake for a very big video and get paid a lot of money. And instead, I was not hired, and this video was shown to another decorator on how to make a toilet cake. And long story short, I'm never making a toilet cake again, and you should always have a contract before you make something.
Well, that creator was Mr. Beast.
if you didn't guess.
If you didn't guess why we showed you that random TikTok of a toilet cake, yeah, she ended up saying that it was Mr. Beast. I want to say there was some resolution made. If we could find it, we'll put it in here.
Update on Toiletgate 2022. I'm reporting from my bed because I have the vid. It finally got me, but I'm doing okay. Don't worry about me. So for those of you that speculated that this whole thing was with Mr. Beast, I can confirm it was. And yeah, I didn't really think that the video was going to take off like it did. I don't think anybody really thinks their videos are going to take off anymore, but it did. And I felt kind of bad because my intention was not to cancel Mr. Beast. I don't know him. I have never met him. He seems like a good guy. But what happened, and it was unfortunate. So last night, Jimmy called me up and we had a good heart-to-heart conversation. We talked about where the communication fell through, what we could have done better to make sure that something like this doesn't happen in the future. We came up with a plan to resolve the issue, and long story short, everything's all good. We don't have any bad blood. I have nothing against Mr. Beast and his team. In fact, I had nothing but respect for them for how they... So thank you everyone for all your love and support, and I really appreciate you guys. I am going to come out with a video soon about how to just kind of like deal with brands in the future to protect yourself and just make sure that you have good communication on your part so that, you know, everybody knows what their role is and we don't accidentally have something like this happen again.
But essentially, he does a lot of stupid shit. It's not even stupid. It's kind of just like he doesn't give people the importance that they deserve. Like when he's thinking of things or ideas or having his people reach out to people, there's just not a lot of forethought put in. And I understand that he's doing a lot of things that's like a huge production. These are real people. Like, you know how long it takes me to make a single cake? I'm not even talking about layers. I'm talking just one like Pillsbury fucking cake.
He doesn't seem very respectful of people's time at all.
Yeah, I think that he's kind of at the point where he's just so big that he's just he's not doing it right, and he needs to pull back and like analyze that and who's working for him, who's doing what, who's making what decisions so that it doesn't get worse and he doesn't become David Dobrik. Because like if you're chasing views and money and you're donating a lot of money, you already got 3 things that are almost David Dobrik. Those are like 3 main ingredients.
I think it's oh my god. I think it's a little interesting that you make the Mr. Beast David. Oh my god. I think it's interesting that you make that comparison simply because the reason I think both of them, and I'm not saying they're the same, but it's interesting that they both get applauded so much because they do give stuff away. So that kind of seems to negate any questionable stuff because it's like, well, he gives money to charity or gives away money to random people, just like how David gives away cars. Oh my god. Can someone give me headphones?
Oh my god. Are you having... Okay, what time? I think we're like an hour and 45 minutes into filming. So you lasted a long time without having a mental breakdown. I'm proud of you.
I know. I'm fine now. I think it's in.
It's so funny because I think that when you do give a certain amount of money away, and he's given away so fucking much, which has undoubtedly like helped a lot of people.
It's great,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, you do get kind of a free pass for a lot of things. I remember, this is not like something like horrible he did, but do you remember when his chocolate was like really disorganized in Walmart and he like the displays were getting destroyed?
To go fix it for him?
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, like, if you guys see the chocolate like in Walmart, can you like fix it up for me? And people were like, yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck, bitch? Do you work for Walmart? Like, why are you
work for
doing
Mr. Beast? Like, also, I heard that the chocolate's terrible.
I have also heard that. I think Ethan even tried it, and they did say it was not great. It was very much like giving like Hershey's, but worse, maybe.
But yeah, that alone was like, he just feels kind of like, well, I do so much for everyone. People should do stuff for me, kind of.
Like, I wouldn't dream of asking that because honestly, I feel like if I did ask that, it would prompt people to like destroy it further, which did happen for some of the Mr. Beast displays. But honestly, a lot of people organized it, and I'm like, really? Like, people were sending pictures wanting him to repost it. Overall, if I'm being honest, and don't hate me, don't come for me, please. He does give me like frat guy, like kind of careless, like, fuck it, who cares? And in my opinion, I think men in power that have that mindset are a little bit dangerous because I think you have to be like very mindful when you're in positions such as his. And he's not very mindful. He's kind of too like, okay, bro. Like that's not gonna work.
At least as of now, we have not heard of something like terrible that he's done. And I'm not saying that he's done something terrible, but like you said, I think he's not very mindful of how his actions affect other people. And he doesn't seem particularly respectful of people's time and effort and what something might mean for them because he is so removed from it.
I think that as a creator, and no matter how successful you get, not even a creator, celebrities, anybody that has any sort of status that's up there with the public, you have to understand that anyone that interacts with you, cameramen, anybody on the crew, anybody that works with you, they are human beings that will never forget their experience with you. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Like, I can name every asshole I've ever met on set. And I'm sure like you worked as a producer, like, you know, the really hard to work with talent, the people that you just never fucking forget about. That is a taste that they leave in your mouth. And you need to know that, like, treasure everyone you come in contact with that's helping you create the content that you're creating. Like, period. But anyway, that wraps us up for now. I kind of have a feeling like Rosanna's been pretty vocal about this. Like, there might be some things maybe on... What day is today?
This is coming out on Monday.
It's Monday. On Friday, we'll probably maybe have some updates. If not, honestly, I just wish Rosanna well. I have no negative feelings towards her whatsoever. I don't understand why people are expelling this energy for someone who's like just speaking. Like, she's not like demanding that Mr. Beast is like, you go down right now. Like, she's not. She's just talking.
People are reframing her frustration and her being upset by this as her saying that she's so important that she like should be prioritized. And it's like, no, she just wanted to be treated the same and she wasn't.
That being said, that is all we have for you today. We hope you have a beautiful Halloween. You're either watching this on Halloween or you're watching this the day before Halloween. I don't really know what you're doing, all right? But
oh my God, wait, we didn't even talk about your Mortals intro. How funny was it?
It was great. Everyone loved it. It was a hit.
I was tempted to just like keep you at green the entire episode.
Oh my God, that would have been fucking awful. Why would you have to? No, it was great. My daughter is obsessed with witches and Halloween, and she's like, again. I was like, girl, please. But that is all we have for you. I hope you guys stay safe on Halloween. I'm going to go trick-or-treating with my kids. You're just going to stay home or what?
I think I'll probably just stay home. I don't even think I have to buy candy because I live in like a house that's been converted into apartments, but my door isn't like prominently the front door. So I think I can get away with. I'm just going to turn the lights off and pretend I'm not here.
Are you my dad?
That's side note, did you know that there was never a real incident where like candy was ever poisoned or laced with anything?
You mean
ever?
Those like mom groups on Facebook that are like, watch out for the razor blades inside of Tootsie Rolls. It's like, girl.
100%. Like that's always been like this huge fear that's always been like projected.
Me using that as an excuse to check all my kids' candy and eat them.
There's honestly, I heard recently there's not one documented case of that actually happening.
There's two things that happen on Facebook groups around Halloween. Number one, they tell you to check your kids' candy. There's going to be fucking, I don't know, fentanyl in the Tootsie Pops. And then also, they tell you, what day is everyone trick-or-treating? And I'm like, bitch, Halloween. The fucking day of Halloween.
Yeah, wait, what?
No, it's the biggest thing. It's like, what day, guys? Is it the week? Because it falls on a Tuesday. So are we going to be trick-or-treating on Saturday? Bitch?
No, still Tuesday.
Anyway, that's all we have for you today. Our costumes, we tried our best. Like my ears are moist. I'm sweating.
Honestly, I'm wearing less clothes than normal when I'm sweating, so you must be dead.
I feel so uncomfy and I can't wait to take this off. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Hope you guys have a wonderful Halloween. And if you made it to the end, as always, we sincerely appreciate you. And we will see you on Friday.
Bye.
Bye.